Hey, it's Marcus.
Marcus, I just caught the tail end of your conversation with my good friend Aaron Flint on Voices of Montana. I just caught bits and pieces that Rob O'Neill, fellow SEAL team member, has not invited you to go fly fishing here in Montana yet.
Yeah, he hasn't brought me up there yet, so I had to give him. I mean,
you are the recipient of the Navy Cross for Combat Heroism, and I have one question I would just like to start with, sir.
Okay.
With less than the number I've heard is as high as 2% of the U.S. population participated in the Iraq and Afghan wars. People, especially in your position of such distinguished service to this country, what is the proper way to greet a returning veteran and to thank them for their service?
Just the fact that they say thanks, that's big enough. I mean, just to walk up to somebody when a complete stranger comes up and just says, hey, thanks for your service, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. It means a lot. I mean, it means a lot to most people, no matter what they do. I mean, hey, thanks for having me on your radio show. So, I mean, that kind of, you know what I mean?
What is the genesis of the 2015 Patriot Tour that's coming to Bozeman on August 15th?
Truth be told, it just gives us a reason to be able to hang out with each other and travel to some cities we've never been to. But the outward part of it, what I'm supposed to say when I'm on the radio is like, we get to come in and we get to hang out with a bunch of people and like I said, cities we hadn't been to and share our stories of some of the stuff that we've been through, not only in the military, but I mean, you'll hear stories about what happened before we got in the military and after, and it's kind of that progression. And I would like to say it gives people an insight as to how we're capable of doing some of the things that we do and that we've been through, and that we're no different than anybody else. It's just the fact that we refuse to stay down, because each of the stories from the guys that are up on the stage are far crazier than mine. I mean, especially Taya, Kyle. I mean, Chris's widow, she had to go through all of that being married to Chris, and then on coming back and dealing with, now she's a celebrity in Hollywood, jumping at her and raising those kids, and still has the wherewithal and the fortitude to get up and be a great person. So, I mean, she just very easily could have just imploded, but she didn't. I don't really believe in that hero tag, and I try to emulate somebody, but I mean, I think if you definitely look at a lot of people, not only in my life, but that I've read about or that I've heard about, and try to, tailor myself and some of the habits and the characteristics that they have, and make myself a better person. That's all we're trying to do here with the tours. We get together and just give people a little insight as to how we do that.
It is 1450 KMMS, 1340 KPRK. On the phone with me, Marcus Luttrell, a former Navy SEAL, a recipient of the Navy Cross for Combat Heroism. Is part of this tour cathartic for you?
I have a good time. I guess there has been a couple of shows where if I had something on my chest, I got it out, and I'm just kind of, I guess it's easier to talk to strangers. Like, hey, guess what? This is what's on my mind. And then after I'm done talking, I don't have to answer. I don't have to answer to anybody. I just walk off. So sometimes I take advantage of that. I don't know. Everybody has their good days and their bad. Sometimes I accept it for what it is, and then sometimes I'm like, if my pain levels are up or just had a bad day, then I have to work extra hard to tell myself to get up and keep going.
How do you make the good days better then, sir?
I have no secret on that. It's tough. I mean, it's some days are worse than others, and you tell yourself, we're just going to get through this one, and tomorrow will be better. That's how I do it. Like I said, I don't have any secret. There's been plenty of times where I've had my head buried in the sink with water running over the back of my neck, and then I got to look up in the mirror and be like, okay, come on, let's go. Let's go. One more day. Yeah, one turns into two turns into a week, months, and years, so that's it. And I'm married with kids now, and I got lucky, man. I married a woman that absolutely loves me, and it was the most wonderful thing in my life, and she gave me those kids, and that's a lot of fun. I didn't have that when I was in the teams. It wasn't part of the deal, but now that I'm out, and I really enjoy it.
Marcus, you mentioned Taya Kyle, the widow of Chris Kyle, the American Sniper. Did you serve with Chris?
We came up together. Absolutely. I knew him my whole career. I never did a deployment with him. We never served in the box together, but I ripped him out plenty of times. And but no, I never did a platoon with him or anything like that.
Our congressional representative Congressional Representative Ryan Zinke, a former SEAL commander. Did you spend time with him as well?
No, sir. He's a little bit older than me. I give him a hard time.
Well,
I like the fact that I said him. No, he was them old timers, you know. No, I do know. I know Ryan, and but I never did a deployment with him either. So I'd heard. I mean, obviously our community is really small. So if I don't know somebody in the teams, then I know somebody who knows them. And if we ran across each other in school, that's kind of another beauty about our community. So small, when we're off, most of the time, if we're not deployed, then we're training. It's one or the other kind of deal. And we run into each other at schools and train ups and work ups and all that stuff like that. But I never did a push with them. Wish I had a chance to, but I never did.
With the attention coming to Chris Kyle and your service, and of course our Congressman Ryan Zinke here in Montana, how do you feel about the rise of awareness of SEAL teams in the United States?
It's tough. I mean, that's actually a good question, and people have asked me that probably one other time. I never really put any thought into it, but because I guess I was one of the. I don't want to say I'm the catalyst that opened up that door into the SEAL teams, because I would have never known about the SEAL teams if there wasn't information out there already. But because when Red Wing got declassified and then the Navy made it into a book, it did it unlock and open the door to our community, and kind of gave people an insight as to who we are and how we work. Now, with that being said, I mean, most of everything that I've seen just barely scratches the surface on our community and the way we operate. I like to use the analogy like a professional football team. I mean, you can sit there and people watch them play, and you think you know their plays, or somebody's printed them out on the internet or something like that. But that's all well and good. But what it all boils down to is the operators and how they perform the plays. So it's tough. I mean, we all come up with that quiet professional kind of deal, and it's a double-edged sword. I mean, because there's half of me is like, man, I wish this would have never happened, and then two, I understand the fact that it has happened, and it opens people's eyes as to what we do, and immortalizes our guys who didn't make it back. I guess with enough rambling, I just went on for a little bit, and I didn't really give you an answer because I don't have one.
Marcus, that's fine. Marcus Luttrell, I appreciate your time today. I look forward to seeing you August 15th at the Emerson Theater for the Performing Arts when the Patriot Tour stops on by. Please keep doing what you're doing, and I thank you for your service, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, and we'll see you all up there.